He never rushed to explain himself. Clapton always let the notes do the talking, every bend, every pause, every moment of silence carrying more weight than words ever could. For decades he's been called God by fans, Slowhand by peers, and Restless by anyone who's ever tried to follow his trail. But behind the solos and the stadium lights lies something quieter: devotion. Not to fame, but to sound. To the bands that shaped him, challenged him, and refused to let him settle. He once said he plays to stay honest. And these are the records that kept him that way. The 10 rock albums Eric Clapton calls his favorites, albums that taught him how to listen and how to live. 1. Music from Big Pink, the bandy rootsy masterpiece that reshaped his musical compass in 1968 when rock reached for spectacle. Clapton found silence inside music from Big Pink. The band's humility and warmth reminded him that honesty could hit harder than volume, that truth could sing louder than fame. When Clapton first heard the album, Cream was collapsing under the weight of ego and endless solos. But this record, it felt like a whisper that carried farther than a scream. He later said, "Music from Big Pink changed the way I thought about being a musician. It made me want to disappear into the song instead of standing in front of it." From that moment, his compass shifted. He didn't want to impress. He wanted to belong to something real. 2. Layla and Other assorted love songs, Derek and the Dominos, the emotional storm that defined his greatest collaboration. This was the album that bled, not crafted, survived. Layla wasn't just music. It was confession. Every note was memory. Every chord a wound reopened until it healed. Clapton later admitted, "That record was my diary. Every track was something I couldn't say out loud." The chemistry with Duane Allman gave the album a pulse that felt human, raw, unrehearsed, alive. It wasn't a hit at first. It was too honest, too painful, too real, but that's why it became timeless. 3. Revolver, the Beatles' psychedelic breakthrough that rewired rock itself. When Revolver landed, it sounded like the future disguised as melody. It proved that songs could be intimate and infinite at the same time. Clapton realized that evolution wasn't about volume, it was about vision. "That was when I understood music didn't have to shout to change the world." Revolver showed him the power of imagination. It became a map for every artist daring to make the personal universal. 4. The best of Muddy Waters blues blueprint that taught him raw truth before the world called him Slowhand. Clapton was a boy tracing Muddy's shadow. These recordings were raw, unpolished, and perfect. The blues wasn't about skill. It was about truth. Muddy taught me that every note has a soul, and if it doesn't, you shouldn't play it. For Clapton, this wasn't influence. It was inheritance. 5. Are You Experienced? The Jimi Hendrix Experience explosive debut that changed every guitarist's life. When Hendrix arrived, Clapton felt the ground move. Are You Experienced? Wasn't a challenge. It was revelation. The first time Clapton saw Hendrix perform in London, he was stunned into silence. Hendrix didn't play the guitar, he lived inside it. The album changed the vocabulary of rock, proving that true greatness doesn't imitate. It creates its own gravity. 6. Live at the Regal B.B. King's live masterclass that taught him tone, patience, and grace. If any record taught Clapton the meaning of restraint, it was Live at the Regal B.B. King didn't dominate, he conversed. Every bend was a sentence, every silence a breath. B showed me that a single honest note can outlive 1,000 solos. Whenever Clapton drifted into ego or noise, this album pulled him back to the center. 7. Disraeli Gears Cream, Technicolor storm that pushed his own band to its limit. Inside the swirl of Disraeli Gears, Clapton found chemistry and chaos colliding. This was beauty made from mayhem, improvisation turning into melody, arguments turning into riffs. It was beautiful mayhem. None of us could control it, but we didn't want to. To the audience, it was rebellion. To Clapton, release. 8. Then Play on Fleetwood Mac, the mystical, blues-drenched journey he never forgot. Bitter Green's sorrow ran through Then Play on like smoke through sunlight. Green didn't decorate the blues, he distilled it. Clapton later said, "Peter was the only guitarist who ever truly scared me. Not because he was better, but because he was real." The album shimmered between beauty and despair, turning pain into poetry. It reminded Clapton that mastery isn't perfection, it's presence.
9. At Fillmore East, the Allman Brothers Band, the Southern storm that captured pure musical chemistry. Clapton called this record a living conversation. It breathed, it stretched, it roared. Duane Allman led with instinct, weaving melodies like stories told without words. Improvisation became prayer. Discipline and surrender coexisted in perfect timing. The trust between the players changed Clapton. It shaped Layla. It shaped him. 10. Highway 61 Revisited. Bob Dylan. The poetic thunderbolt that still inspires him. More than any other album, this one unlocked him. Dylan didn't just write lyrics, he rewrote possibility. His voice was raw, nasal, unapologetic, a weapon made of nerve. Dylan showed me that imperfection can be power. This record taught Clapton that honesty could be amplified, that music could confront, confess, and create all at once. The legacy these albums left in him. Every artist has a map. Clapton's map wasn't fame, fashion, or even time. It was sound. These 10 albums weren't just favorites. They were coordinates, lessons carved into him. Restraint over noise, truth over perfection, feeling over fame. He once said the best music makes you disappear into it. Maybe that's what these albums gave him. A place to vanish, and a place to be found again.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.